अस्सलाम वालेकुम। तो दोस्तों, आज की इस वीडियो में हम देखेंगे की डिफरेंस बिटवीन कंपाइलर एंड इंटरप्रेटर। तो वीडियो को स्टार्ट करते हैं। वीडियो स्टार्ट करने से पहले अगर चैनल पर न्यू है तो चैनल को लाजमी आप सब्सक्राइब कर लें ताकि हर नई वीडियो का नोटिफिकेशन आप तक पहुंच सके। व्हाट इज़ कंपाइलर? अ कंपाइलर इज़ अ सॉफ्टवेयर टूल यूजिंग विच हाई लेवल प्रोग्रामिंग कोड written by humans can be translated into machine readable instructions. It is typically in the form of binary code or machine code. It performs various tasks like lexical analysis, syntax, parsing, semantic analysis, optimization, and code generation. The resulting compiled code can be executed directly by a computer's hardware, enabling the efficient execution of software programs. How does the compiler work? A compiler operates in several phases. It first analyzes the source code structure, ensuring it adheres to the programming language's rules. Then it converts the code into an intermediate representation, optimizing it for performance. Afterwards, it generates target machine code utilizing various optimization techniques to improve efficiency. This gives the final output as an executable program. Types of compiler. Compiler can be characterized based on their target languages and uses scenarios. Single pass and multi-pass compiler, source to source compiler, then क्रॉस कंपाइलर, फिर नेटिव कंपाइलर, फिर जस्ट इन टाइम कंपाइलर जीआईटी, फिर अहेड ऑफ टाइम एओटी कंपाइलर्स, ऑप्टिमाइजिंग कंपाइलर, इंटरप्रेटिंग कंपाइलर, डायनामिक ट्रांसलेटर, इंक्रीमेंटल कंपाइलर्स. Advantages and disadvantages of compiler. Compiler offers advantages such as optimized and efficient code execution, as the code is translated into machine code beforehand. This leads to faster program execution and reduce runtime overhead. Additionally, compiled program can be distributed without revealing the source code. However, completion introduces an upfront delay during the compilation phase and requires recompilation for changes to take effect. Debugging. Compiled code can also be more challenging due to the absence of human readable source code during execution. What is an interpreter? An interpreter is a software tool directly execute high-level programming code without prior translation translation into machine code. It reads and executes the code line by line, translating each line into machine instructions on the fly, making it easier to identify errors and debug the code. How does the interpreter work? Interpreter work by reading a source code line, parsing it and executing the corresponding actions immediately. Unlike compilers, which generate standalone machine code, interpreters execute code directly in the programming language environment. This enables real-time error detection and debugging as any issues are spotted during execution. However, interpreted programs can be slower compared to compiled programs due to the overhead of translation at runtime. Some environments like JIT just-in-time compilers dynamically translate code section into machine code to improve performance. Types of interpreter. Different types of interpreters. Interpreters come in various types, each with its own characteristics and use cases. Sequential interpreter, interactive interpreter, batch interpreter, bytecode interpreter, JIT, just in time interpreter. कंपाइलर में भी था ये JIT और इसमें भी है. उसके बाद ट्री वाक इंटरप्रेटर, सोर्स टू सोर्स इंटरप्रेटर्स, हार्डवेयर इंटरप्रेटर्स, एमुलेटर्स एंड वर्चुअल मशीन इंटरप्रेटर्स, डायनामिक ट्रांसलेटर्स, डोमेन स्पेसिफिक इंटरप्रेटर, कंकरेंट इंटरप्रेटर्स. एडवांटेज एंड डिसएडवांटेज ऑफ इंटरप्रेटर. तो अब हम पढ़ेंगे एडवांटेजेस एंड डिसएडवांटेजेस ऑफ इंटरप्रेटर. Interpreter offers advantages like easy debugging as errors are caught during runtime and the ability to provide immediate feedback in interactive environments. They are also more flexible as change to code take effect without the need for recompilation. However, interpreted programs can be slower compared to compiled ones due to the overhead of translating code during execution. Interpreters might also lack certain performance optimization that compilers offers. What is difference between compiler? मेन टॉपिक था जी, हमने डिफरेंस इसमें जो है वो देखना है. तो compiler and interpreter are both used to transform high level programming code into machine readable instructions. There are many differences between compiler and interpreter. A compiler translates the entire source code into machine code before execution, resulting in faster execution since no translation needed during runtime. On the other hand, an interpreter translates code line by line during execution, making it easier to detect errors but potentially slowing down the program. तो फ्रेंड्स, हमने आज ये इंटरप्रेटर्स की टाइप्स देखी, कंपाइलर्स की टाइप्स देखी, व्हाट इज इंटरप्रेटर और कंपाइलर, व्हाट इज कंपाइलर देखा, और डिफरेंस भी हमने देखा इन दोनों के दरमियान. तो अगर आप चैनल पर न्यू हैं तो चैनल को लाजमी सब्सक्राइब करें. आज की इस वीडियो में इतना ही, मिलते हैं नेक्स्ट वीडियो में. तब तक के लिए अल्लाह हाफिज़.